A couple of things we need to discuss. The cat is being crazy. She's being a crazy girl. She is a crazy girl. And I'm exhausted. I pretty much have been diagnosed with chronic fatigue, bitch. So I live off crackhead drinks. Leave me alone, okay? I don't want to hear your judgment. But I'm here because I want to talk about the books I've recently read. And this circles back to my dark romance TBR that I filmed 2.5 weeks ago. Yeah, we sat down and we discussed. Well, I sat down and I discussed while you guys listened. We talked about the books that I wanted to read that kind of fell under the psychological, dark romance, erotic horror category. And I have been chipping my way through some of those books. I need to talk about them right this second. So if you're interested, keep watching, girly pops. Subscribe. I'm a fun time over here. It's good fun over here. I read lots of books. You read lots of books. I talk about them. You leave comments. It's great. You should subscribe if you haven't already. This was the first thing I jumped into, which is bizarre. When you circle back to that video, you see me say, I've come across this series that is supposed to be so morally black that it cannot even be considered a romance. Who 4690 by A.A Dark. There is warnings everywhere to do with this novel and this series because it is a 4-book series. There was many of you in the comments that were like, girlfriend, I could not finish this. I DNF'd it. It was so dark. There was also a lot of you that said this was one of the most fucked up things that you'd ever read, but it was phenomenal. So I was really torn. I was like, should I read something a little bit more like fluffy? None of these books are fluffy, but not as notoriously known for being as fucked up, like something a little bit more lower level. Before diving into this. But then I got the ebook on my Kindle and read the first page and it sold me. And I got all the feels. Like I got a little bit goosebumpy, bitch. I was like, oh my god, this is exactly what I want. So I just dived straight into the deep end. I can't swim, bitch, by the way. Girls, I have so many words, so many feelings, so many thoughts about this series and what I have read from the series that I'm right now struggling to pinpoint what I want to fucking say first. I have never read anything that is remotely the same as this. Like, this is so unique. It stands on its own. It is insanely good. I didn't look up tropes, triggers, or nothing. Nothing at all. I've gone off the rumors that this is a dark, psychological, erotic horror novel. There's a lot of things in this series that I read that I have come across in many dark romances before. Like, many. And the character arcs weren't that different to a lot of like MMCs that we read in generic dark romance. But because of the unknown, I actually had nightmares after reading some of this novel the first night. I didn't know what I was going to read. So every time I turned the page, I was like, am I going to read something that is going to morally crush me? I didn't know what to expect. And that's the thing with erotic horror. It's an acquired taste, obviously, but it's such a strange genre for me because every time I've gone into it, I expect it to be something really disturbing, and don't get me wrong, erotic horror is disturbing a lot of the time, but it's just not what I picture. It's usually like erotic horror, when I've read it, ends up being like a horror storyline with a romance happening on the side, but can be connected to the plot. When I went into this, I didn't think it was going to be that. I think it was just going to be like horror the entire time, and it was going to be really, I don't know, just shocking to me. And though there was definitely parts of this novel that were shocking, as I said, before I got deeper into the novel, I actually had nightmares. It's so interesting how certain stories can be written. Like the way the author wrote this, like the tone of it is so unsettling, but you could place all of these things that you read in this novel in like a different dark romance novel and change the tone, and it would read and feel so fucking different. I rated this 5 stars and I genuinely love this book so much. I don't know if I would ever reread it. I don't know if I would, but it was just such an experience. And once the story started unfolding, I wasn't as terrified anymore. That's her whole thing. She wants to write these really morally corrupt stories that, you know, you may come across in a regular dark romance, but write it in a way that mentally fucks you up. Like every page, I was like, what is going on? What's going to happen next? Who's real? Who's not? Is this an illusion? Like it was psychologically fucked, which I knew it was going to be because it's a psychological erotic horror novel. It was brilliant. Circling back to the comment from one of you guys, you said to me like, I couldn't get through this, but I think you'll love it. And you said it does have human trafficking in it. Now, I don't have many hard limits when it comes to dark romance in general. I really don't. I could read anything, really. I'm not like emotionless. I just don't get triggered by things, but human trafficking is one of my big hard limits in dark romance. Like, I usually despise it being used as a plot point, a part of a plot, a part of a character's story arc. Obviously, human trafficking is fucking disgusting, and that's why. But then when she said that, knowing that it was about human trafficking before I went into it, I was like, oh, fuck me. And I think that's why I had the nightmares, because I was just like, what is going to happen? Is this going to end up being so fucking deranged that it's going to make me ill, like sick? And that just wasn't the case. That just wasn't the case. How do I even explain the beginning of this story? Whitlock is a place where people get trafficked and enslaved. They live there, and it's kind of like this secret world. All these rich billionaire people buy their slaves, okay? And the book opens up with the owner. Like, this is a family thing that's gone down in generations, and he is a billionaire, lawyer, big dog dude, and he's running this joint. And it opens up with him confessing his obsession for one of the slaves. Then you meet her. Oh my god. Warning, it is so fucking graphic, bitch. There are really disgusting things that happen in this story, but I didn't get the ick to that extent. A lot of things that did transpire, I kind of predicted. Like, I knew there was going to be some gore going on. I didn't realize that I was going to fall in love with Bram. Now, Bram is the dude that fucking owns this joint. Bram owns this joint. And I've never met a male character that is so fucking conflicting in my life, because, like, I know he's bad. He runs this fucking joint. But, like, the things that he does with this girl that he's obsessed with, bitch, please. This shit is dark, bitch. But with Bram, I'm like falling for this dude. I'm fucking swooning over this psychopath, this fucking billionaire that owns this like human trafficking ring. I'm swooning over him, and I'm sitting there, and that's the thing, that's the magic of this story, because she literally makes you fall for him, and you're like, wait a minute, this cunt's motherfucking fucked up. I should not be falling for him. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Like, it's just an intense fucking story. And then I read book 2. I was like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Flipped, bitch. I didn't enjoy book 2 as much as I did book 1, because it just reared off course into another dimension that I was not interested in. I was not interested in where the story was going with book 2. And then something came about that changed my perspective on book 2. So I rated book 2 4 stars. Now, there is a story after this that isn't to do with the main characters that you meet in the first 2 books. Didn't read that. Opened up book 4 because that's a continuation from the first book, and I haven't been able to return to it because I just don't know if I want to. This is the weirdest thing about this series. And this is, I guess, it's going back to the tone of how she's written this, because the first 2 books just take you on a fucking journey, to say the least, bitch. You're like on this goddamn journey with this girl, this fucking slave, and you're just like, beg your fucking pardon, bitch. This is not happening, man. This is not fucking happening. Some of the twisted, most sickest shit I've ever fucking read is in this series. So yeah, when I opened up book 4, I was like, I don't have it in me to read this right now, and I don't know if I ever will. I don't know. The first book I fucking loved. The second book really threw me through a loop, and I kind of was a bit bored towards the end, which is so weird because a lot of people don't get bored with this series. I did. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? You throw a bunch of twisted, sick shit into one fucking book, and I'm like, bored. What's wrong with me? I don't know. I couldn't even start the 4th book to finish off the series to give you guys my completed thoughts and feelings, but I think I will. I think I will, maybe. I don't know, girl. I don't know, but this was fucking wild. Wild. But again, I must admit, like, so many things that I read are not new concepts. Like, I've read them before in dark romances, they've just been written differently. It's written in a way where, like, you kind of disregard it and it softens the blow, where this author definitely highlighted the fucking blow, and there was no softness about any of this shit. Like, human trafficking, gore and shit. That's all I'll say. I'll just say, like, human trafficking. But it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. And I was just getting mind fucked on every page, which is exactly what I was looking for. It was exactly what I was looking for. I wanted to be like, what the actual fuckity fuck is going on, bitch? And even trying to explain this series is so fucking hard. Like, look at me. And even explaining this to my partner, he was like, what the actual fuck are you reading? And I was like, I don't know, bitch, but it's so good. The first book. The second book, I was just like, what is going on? I cannot believe I love Bram. Like, I genuinely do. Maybe if I finish the series, that will change. But I just see him as this broken fucking, I don't know. He is a unique character. I've never read a man like him before. You're seeing him do some pretty fucked up things. But then with her, he's so different. He's not like that with her. He's not like that with her. And then you don't really get the, I don't want to give anything away, but you don't really get the opportunity to see what he's truly like with her either. So it's just like, you're really conflicted because he makes you swoon, bitch. He would make me swoon. And I was like, Bram, I think I'm in love with you. Like, I need you to lock the fuck up, honestly, because what the fuck, how can I fall in love with that dude? I don't know, but he was smoking. He was smoking and he was doing all these things for her and I was like, oh God, he's getting in there. My rib cage is opening up. One by one, they're snapping, bitch, my ribs, and they're letting him in. They're letting him in. I don't know if that convinces you guys to read it or not, but I would just say, like, if you love dark romance and you want something really fucked up, and you're just like, I just want to go on a ride, I want to go on a journey, I don't have any triggers, I'm cool, I'm sweet with that. This is where you need to go. It's deranged beyond, but I'm so intrigued to read this author's backlist because apparently this isn't even the darkest thing she's fucking written. And I'm like, okay, what the hell have you written? And I was looking up her Instagram and I was looking up some books of hers that she's written under her A.A Dark pen name. And goddamn girl, some other stuff in there that she's written, I'm like, what? I'm intrigued, but I'm also terrified at the same time because I'm like, how dark and deep do I want to go? You know what I mean? How dark and deep do I want to go? Then I read Comfort Food. Okay, by Kitty fucking Thomas, Comfort Food. Yeah, that title that I don't really love that much. This was weird. My opinion on this is really strange. I was kind of disappointed, and let's talk about why. It opens up with this girl. She's kidnapped, right? Bang. She's been taken, drugged. She's tied up in some fucking dungeon basement thing. I don't know. And this dude who's mute is, well, we think he's mute. He's not talking to her. Maybe he's just giving her the silent treatment. I don't know. But, well, I do know. But you don't know. So, anyway, he's got her. He's bound her and he is just feeding her comfort food. And then, like, trying to grab her at the same time. The whole storyline is if she behaves, she gets privileges. And pretty much he just wants her as his toy. And he's an attractive, wealthy man. The reason why he's gone about this is because he wanted full control like this. Like, that's what drew him to her. He wanted to abduct someone and have that power. That's what it was. Because he knows that he could have any type of woman that he wants to do these things, but he just wanted that complete, like, blanketed power. The whole point of me reading all these books is I want to read relationships that showcase power plays and different types of power plays. The story was pretty much about the power play and how he could live out and fulfill this desire and fantasy that he has and mentally break her, but not in the way that you think. It's like platonic. Like, they don't have feelings for each other. And that was weird for me because if we go back to A.A Dark's novel, Bram, he had an obsession and he had feelings for the slave, right? And that's kind of what woos you, I guess, because you're like, he loves her. Where this dude, I didn't feel like he loved the bitch that he kidnapped, and I don't think she loved him either. Treated her well, don't get me wrong. That sounds whack in itself. When you read these types of stories, you're just like, well, he is kind of treating you well, and then you're like, bitch, he's got her kidnapped. She can't go anywhere. That bitch is a slave, girl. She's being fucking trafficked. This is not a happily ever after. You know what I mean? Like, these stories do make you say whack shit like that. But, like, he does treat her well. So it was just weird. It was just this weird thing. It wasn't like a love story at all. And I know, like, A.A Dark's series isn't marketed as a love story either, but, like, you know, there's feelings. Like, you can see these really conflicting emotions and feelings build between these characters, like, so many different characters, and, like, you can see it, you can understand it. But this one, like, there was no love. It's kind of this weird dynamic where he broke her mentally and then she was content with being broken for him. It was kind of boring. It was kind of boring. And then a few of you recommended, instead of comfort food, this other book by this other author that is kind of similar to comfort food but better, and I'm gonna read that. I will. I did open it up. I won't mention the name of it or anything, but I did open it up and I was like, bitch, this is scarring already. So then after A.A Dark and fucking comfort food, I was like, where are we going now, bitch? What am I actually putting myself through? This is insane. Like, this is actually insane. So then I picked up The Hills of Shivers and Shadows of whatever it's called by Pam Godwin. Good God. I'm in the middle of reading this right now. Like, I'm about 60% into the first novel. Guys, hands fucking down. This is going to be one of my all-time favorite series. Like, goddamn, this is so fucking good. This by far is one of the most unique stories I've ever read, and it's just made me like combust inside, bitch, with love. Okay, so hear me out. Credence by Penelope Douglas is one of my favorite books of all time. Credence cannot be compared to Shivers and Shadows, or Shadows and Shivers, or whatever it's called. It cannot be. Completely different storyline. The only thing that's kind of the same is that you're locked in the wintertime in snow in a cabin with family dynamics. That's the only thing that you can kind of compare. So it's giving those vibes. But there is mystery, and there is darkness, and there is humor, and there's tension and angst and attraction and just amazing character arcs for this story. Like, oh my God. We've got this girl, she's 29, she's married to a billionaire in Alaska, and she's having some relationship dramas with her partner. She gets abducted in her goddamn house. Yeah, man. Yeah, this dude comes in and abducts her. And the way he does it leaves no traces of her being abducted. He's made it look like she's leaving. And then he puts her on a fucking yacht, on a boat, on a plane, and takes her to this place that is so far from humans, she'll never escape. Like, they're in the wilderness. And this motherfucker has money. So there's like this cabin, this $1 billion fucking cabin that he's taken her to. And when she rocks up there, he's got 3 sons living there. And so you read his point of view when he abducts her, and he says all these whack things like, my boys will love her. They'll love her. She's perfect for us, and all this stuff. And you're just like, what the fuck is going to happen next? The whole time you were like, where is this going? What the fuck is going on? Like, that's all I will say about this so far. Like, as I said, 60% in, some things have been revealed, but hands down, this is one of the best fucking things I've ever read, and I cannot wait to finish this series. So many of you were like, girl, you've got to read this, and I'm so glad you fucking did, because goddamn, I'm obsessed, I'm obsessed, I'm obsessed. It was even hard for me to sit down today and film this little update video because I wanted to just lay down today and read this story because I'm so intrigued, and I'm just like, oh my God, where is this going? This is a reverse harem too, which I don't usually like. Okay, there's a handful of reverse harems. So why choose romances that I have liked in my lifetime, but it's not something that I choose to read regularly because I just genuinely usually just like one love interest. I love all of these men. I love all these fucking sons of this dude. Let me fucking tell you, I am obsessed with all of them. They're so unique and so different to one another, which is another great thing. There's no copy and paste when it comes to their character arc, and I'm learning some deep, dark shit. This is dark. This is dark, 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 and it makes me compare this, even though the stories are so different, to the A.A Dark story, because like, Pam is writing something super dark. Like, this story is going to be dark, but it's just so different in the tone that she's written it. And I just think that's fascinating how, like, you can write similar things under completely different genres and they read differently, but they're the same things, or close to. Like, the level of morality is the same, but because one's written under a psychological lens of erotic horror and then the other's written under just dark romance in general, they read completely different. Anyway, they're not the same at all, the stories, but they just have like dark elements, like similar kind of dark elements so far. And that's just fascinating to me how, like, yeah, you can write the same thing under a different genre and it just reads differently. And it's all based on the tone of the author and how they write and curate that story. Fuck me. But this Hills of Shadows and Shivers and Shivers and Shadows, I'll keep you updated, bitch. Yeah, I will. I'll be keeping you updated because goddamn, this is amazing. It's incredible. And the FMC so far, I feel like she's going to go down as one of my fucking all-time favorite FMCs I've ever read. You know I love a baddie. You know I love a badass bitch that's not afraid to step into her feminine rage and her divine, dark feminine. Love that. There's not enough. Like, I feel like in the romance genre, in every subgenre of romance, even in erotic horror a lot of the time, what I've read of the genre anyway, these girls, like, where's their backbone, bitch? Where's their backbone? We're not all walking out there around life meek as hell. Like, I want backbone, I want fight, I want fucking intelligence, and I'm reading this. I also love the age that this story, like Pam's story, has been written. Like, the characters, their ages, they're older, more mature, and I just really enjoy that right now. Anyway, that's my update on the bad books? No, on the darkest fucking books ever I'm currently reading. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these and your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, all of that. You know, I love to have a chat. I love to check the comments below and just, you know, see you guys yapping down there. I'll be back in the next couple of days to film a mini book haul and we'll have a yap sesh. Now we're done and I'm gonna go to bed.